from behind the net at the 29-second mark. It was tied. Then at 14:30, Leach is seventh from Kelly and Chris. The Flyers carry that 4-3 lead going into the third period. They had 14 shots in the second period for a game total of 20. The Sabres 9, a game total of 27. The penalties for Philadelphia and 3 for Buffalo. And the referee has been Lloyd Gilmer, and the linesmen John D'Amico and Matt Pavlich. You're seeing veteran Roger Crozier, who won the Conn Smythe Trophy in 1965-66 as Montreal bested the Detroit Red Wings. He was the only one of two ever to win the trophy on the losing Cup team. Floyd Smith is coming up along the dasherboards, assisted by Rick Dudley, as both coaches have to make their way from the end areas along the ice to the players' benches, which are really not attainable from the seating areas since they have high glass and no doors. Perrant to our left, and Crozier, who started the second period and gave up the lead goal to Leach, to our right. It will be Ramsey, Gare, and Luce for the Sabres, and McLeish along with Dornhofer and Barber, DuPont with Joe Watson. Sabres know that in this period they can do no worse than score one and allow the Flyers none. They must now know to win this game they have to shut out the Flyers the rest of the way and score two themselves. For this club, that's not a tough chore. Against the Philadelphia Flyers, it might be, but against most clubs, the Sabres are very, very tough, and especially when they're back against the wall. All right, Korab's shot blocked by Barber, screened off by Korab. Dornhofer going in. He tries to get a shot. Crozier out of the net. Dorney along the near side. Tries to get it back to the point, does, but there's no play as Joe Watson was challenged by Luce. Now to the point, kept in by Joe. Shoves it up to Ramsey. Ramsey looking through for Gare. Fires. And the rebound is taken by Joe and followed up by Luce. And we have, and Ramsey, and we have an offside against Buffalo. 25 seconds gone as we start the third period. The Flyers lead 4-3. Faceoff will come just outside the Philadelphia blue line. The Sabres trailed twice in this building in playoff games this year, both to Montreal in Game 1 and in Game 5, and they rallied to win both in overtime. So you have to keep that in mind. Joe Watson along the near side, challenged by Luce, gets it up to Leach, to Clark. Clark avoids Ramsey's check. He goes down, and it's up to DuPont at far ice. Comes to the Sabre line. Rolls it in past Guvermont. Can't follow it up as Guvermont checks him off. Carrier quickly along the near side. Checked by Clark. Ramsey slides the puck. Doesn't get it out. Karam's back to him off Leach's skate. Pivots left and right in his own end, away from the forechecking of Leach. Now Clark blocks the tryout, and finally it comes up from Ramsey to Gare to Luce. Clark takes Ramsey down. There could have been a penalty. That's what the fans here are booing about. Up along the far side, Clark has the puck, looks for Leach along the near wing, lifts it to Carrier, who bats it forward to Gare, and that'll be a stoppage of play after a minute and 11 seconds of the third period. And now, still winded, puffing, with his shirt askew, glasses on, the windshield wipers have cleaned them off. He's made the climb to Mount Everest for the third period. Let's go, Flyers. Let's go, Don Earl.
Thank you, Gene. I'm not huffing, I'm not puffing. My skirt is not askew, but mighty warm. Mighty warm. And it's getting warmer downstairs. We noticed some fog on the ice surface toward the tail end of period number 2. And the ice right now seems to be a bit wet as we're back to the action again. Face-off controlled by the Sabres. Schoenfeld chased behind his own net by McLeish. Starts out the right side. He drops it off for Robert. Banks it off the near side boards on the left wing. Martin starts out. Leads past to Schoenfeld. He fires to the Flyers' right wing corner. The Karam handled by Perrant. Loose in front. Cleared out by Jimmy Watson. And now it's McLeish up the left wing. Through center ice across the Buffalo line. His shot wide, and that was a bullet. Karam's all the way back to center ice. Van Imp gives it away. Picked up by Martin. And we have a penalty coming up, and it's against the Flyers. On the delay as Crozier heads for the bench. Schoenfeld up to Martin on the left wing. Here comes Danny Gare. Gare on the backhand, and it's wide. Finally touched up by Robert. He's tied up by McLeish, and finally we're going to whistle. The Buffalo fans didn't figure the Flyers had control, but it's a tripping call against the Flyers. 18:01 left in regulation time. It's 4-3 Flyers.
In the good old days, a merry-go-round was something special. Today, it still is. just like Tasty Cake.
Today's Tasty Cake is still made with the same good-tasting ingredients kids have loved for over 60 years. So today, like kids and merry-go-rounds, Tasty Cake is still
all the good things wrapped up in one.
Ed Van Impe picks up 2 for tripping Perot at 1:51. The Flyers' 5th penalty of 8 called in the game by Lloyd Gilmore. Power play for the Sabres, and this could be the key to the game. They trail 4-3, and they love to get the equalizer early.
For the Sabres, this will be their 4th power play opportunity of tonight's game. They have yet to register a goal via the power play route. Puck cleared the length of the ice up the right wing boards by Joe Watson end to end. Crozier lays it behind his own net for Robert. Robert has it knocked off his stick by Clark, but it's picked up by Martin. Circles in front of Crozier. Crosses on the far side on the right wing. Perot through center ice. Across the line. The drive is blocked out by Joe Watson. And again, he rifles it off the right wing boards the length of the ice. Crozier leaves it for Robert. Clark waiting out front. Peels off and moving in is Laundry on the forechecking duties. Robert starts out slowly. We've got 1:24 left on the penalty to Van Impe. Here's Perot across the line. Stops. Holds. Winds it behind Perrant in the Flyers' net. Perrant scoops it back into the corner. Watson goes for it. Perot crosses to the right point, kept in by Robert to Gavermont. On the left face-off surface, Perot crosses behind Stanfield, and Lansbury drove it to the length of the ice. And the Sabres fans a bit unhappy with the passing of their hockey club inside the Flyers' zone. Stanfield gets by Barber off to Martin. He drags it in behind him. Still controls, goes to the left wing corner in the Flyers zone, taken down by Watson. Puck cleared off the backhand of McLeod, back to Crozier in the Buffalo net. He's to the far side of the net. We've got 40 seconds left on the penalty to Van Impe. Flyers lead 4-3 in a tight one. Robert out to center ice, across the red line, inside Flyers territory, on the right wing. Has it taken away by McLeod. He fans on this clearing pass. Perot in the right wing corner, drops it off. Blocked off by DuPont. Stanfield gets it again. Perot behind the Flyer net. Perot looking for the open man. Back to the right point. Robert's shot. Stopped by Perrant. Deflected to Barber on the right wing. And he sends it the length of the ice. Flyers will be back at full strength in 10 seconds. Robert to the tune of go, go. Gets by Chris. Across the Flyers line. He drills one, but it's deflected by Tom Bladen. Up and over the glass and out of play behind the Flyers net.
I'd like to see that last shot. It appeared to catch Perrant's glove, hand, and stick hand, and maybe a piece of the post. It was that close to the short side, but the Flyers have successfully thwarted the Sabre attack with just one shot on goal, and that one, the one we just mentioned. Punch Imlach looking on and doffing his coat, but not that gray felt fedora that becomes his trademark. 16:04 left in regulation play. 3 seconds remaining on the Van Impe penalty. Face-off just inside the Flyer blue line. And the game is 4-3 as Crozier looks on from our right.
Pete McNabb against Terry Chris. Puck comes to the left wing boards at center ice. Schoenfeld winds it around the Flyer boards as Van Impe is out. The Flyers are back full. Bladen around to the far side. Intercepted by Lorentz. Kicks it to the right wing corner in the Flyers zone. Jim Watson battles for it behind his own net. Held by Rick Dudley. Moving in to help out is Bladen. Puck still in play. McNabb checks Bladen to the corner boards. In the left wing corner. Ties it up for face-off to the right of Perrant. 4-3 Flyers, and every move up ice, Gene, is the type of a move that gets everyone here in a jam-packed auditorium to the edge of their seats.
Well, of course, Buffalo is the trailing club, and they are supposedly the more dangerous with their number of goals and goal scorers. Every time they wind up, you hold your breath.
McNabb against Crisp on the face-off. To the right of Perrant, it goes to the left wing corner as we look in. Van Impe winds it around to Kelly on the far side. He's checked off the puck. Korab to McNabb. Across. Jimmy Watson cuts in front of McNabb to the left of Perrant and breaks up the play. Crisp on a bouncing puck. Can't clear out. Now does. And Crozier will... He started out. Kelly goes for it. Touched up by Kelly's skate, and icing is waved off. Puck goes behind the Buffalo net to the right wing corner. Down below us to our right. Zalewski breaks up the play. Chris kicks the puck in on Crozier. Now Kelly digs for it. Zalewski moves in, and we're going to get a face-off in the Buffalo zone to the left of Roger Crozier.
Well, Harry, scary at both ends as Kelly could not clear out on the left side, and the Sabres had 2-on-1 in front, but the spin-around shot could not be made, and Jimmy Watson coming back quickly to cover up and break up what looks like a very threatening gesture. 15:10 remaining in regulation play. 4-3 Philadelphia. No scoring here. Dornhofer, Zalewski, McLeish, and Leach for the Flyers. Gare, Rick Martin, and Don Luce for Buffalo.
Bill Clement on with Dave Schultz and Reg Leach. Face-off controlled by Noah. Now Joe Watson at the right point. His shot deflected to the right wing corner by Bill Height. Now controlled by McNabb behind his own net. McNabb back passes to the near corner right to Bill Height. Back to Larry Carrier up the right side of McNabb at center. McNabb from the red line around behind Perrant on the Flyers end. Joe Watson tried to hit Leach, kept in by Height. Loose puck in front of Perrant, cleared out by Joe Watson, and here comes Leach to center ice with Clement. Leach goes across the line, top of the slot, pulls it too far right to get a drive away. Now throw a screen, knocked down by Crozier on the short side. Clement tries to throw it in front as he circles from behind the net. Schultz in the left wing corner, bumping with McNabb and Carrier, and gets the face off to the right of Crozier as we're winding our way minute by minute through the final period of play. 14:28 left in regulation time. It's 4-3 Flyers.
This way.
McDonald's has something new for children. It's called the Ronald McDonald Giant Story Coloring Book, and it's filled with pictures of all the McDonaldland characters and a story that the kids can read as they color. The book is almost 2 feet tall, and you can pick one up for your child right now at McDonald's.
This is Kathy Fox's house.
Ronald McDonald's Giant Story Coloring Book. Just $1 at participating McDonald's.
Back at the Buffalo Auditorium, there must be something with the goals or with the lights or shadows, because Bernie Perrant came out to talk. Bobby Clark questioning Gilmore, and Gilmore made gestures as if to say, well, there's nothing I can do about it. Parker shook his head. 14:28 remaining in the third period, 4-3 Philadelphia. And in the second period, Don, you may recall, there was some discussion, and then the linesman and the referee went to the two goaltenders to talk. And again, Perrant came out of his net on that last stoppage to ask for something. Clark checked with the official, who shook his head as if to say again, I can't help you, let's play hockey.
On the face-off, you can see the fog down there. DuPont can't keep the puck clear. Now we have a partial breakaway across the line. Gear, the drive is wide. Kept in at the left side by Ramsey as he winds it to the far corner, the right wing corner. DuPont picks it off the boards, and he's up to center ice on the left wing. Across the Buffalo line, but offside was Bill Barber, Tom Bladen. So the face-off will be outside the Buffalo line on the Flyers' left wing.
Now I see what it is. There is fog from the circle dots of the Flyers zone to our left, and you can see, those of you watching, the haze from one end. And it's the result of the very warm, moist, humid air in the building settling on that cold and turning to fog. Don, I don't know if you were with Boston then, but a game was once called because of fog.
I recall that very vividly, and I've seen it several times during preseason exhibition games up in Canada during warm summers. The puck hops into the penalty box across the way. Play is stopped. Face-off will be to the Buffalo side of the red line. As the Flyers change lines, out comes Reg Leach. He'll be paired with Clark and Ross Lonsbury.
Don't forget the Tasty Cake post-game show immediately following the final buzzer. Like Tasty Cakes, all the good things wrapped up in one. Imagine that so-and-so came out of the fog to score the big goal.
I'd hate to be a goaltender trying to pick up one of those shots coming through the fog. And most of it appears to be at the Flyers' end.
And Bernie's saying, my view is obscured. And I think Gilmore's going to say, Bobby, I don't know what we can do about it. Now
that's why they're out there to try and skate it away.
And there's sun up at the Buffalo end, and I don't think that's a matter of anything deliberate. But we're going to go everybody skating around, try to see if we can't stir up the fog. Recall, Don, when Vic Stasiak coached, we couldn't get out of the Toronto airport in the fog, and he told the plane to run up and down the runway to see if they could chase it.
It works on ice, but not so well at an airport landing strip. I'm wondering where there is none at the Buffalo end, if perhaps they might have reached an agreement to change ends halfway through this period.
That I don't think that Floyd Smith might go for, although I think that would have to go up to the higher-ups like Scotty Morrison and Clarence Campbell. They seem to have dissipated the fog. Schoenfeld and Luce have gone over to the officials. And again, Lloyd Gilmore is just to say, well, look, they've got to get rid of it. You can't expect them to play in the fog. That list is still around there, but it's now been cleared away, and I would think any time that it builds up, that we're going to try to do that again. 14:02 left in the third period. 4-3 Philadelphia in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final.
The temperature outside has dropped to a comfortable 67, but it must be close to 90 here in this building. Puck loose at center ice, now picked up by Reg Leach at his own blue line, drops it back on the left, inside the zone to Watson. He skates to center, gets it by Gear, rolls one to the Buffalo backboard. Behind the Sabres net is Jim Schoenfeld, the Buffalo captain. tentatively starting out the right side. Back to Korab, up to Schoenfeld. He's at center ice. On the left wing, Don Luce across the line. Rolls one in front. Gere just a hair too late to deflect that one toward Perron. Puck comes to the near side on the right wing for Reg Leach, deep in his own zone. Tried to hit Clark. Broken up by Luce. A drive by Gere. Knocked down by Perron. Rebound to Reg Leach, and here come the Flyers. Clark broken up by Korab in the Flyer end. Now it's Ramsey to the corner. Van Epp dives to push the puck ahead for Clark. Kept in. Now comes to center ice, but it's controlled by Reg Leach from Lonsbury. He drives at long range. Crozier steers it to the near side as the Flyers get a line change. Down goes Bill Height, but the loose puck is picked up by Jerry Korab. Out the left wing, crosses on the right to Perreault. He's on the gallop, winds it around behind the Flyer net. Comes to the near side. Joe Watson's there, trying to clear it up. Puck rolls in on Perron. Steered aside for DuPont. To Barber on the far side of the ice. Blocked out by Robert. Gets it to McLeish at the line. He flips it to center ice, knocked down by the glove hand of Height. Picked up by Dornhofer. He circles behind Barber. Gets by Height. Now slowed down and broken up at the Buffalo line. Here comes Rick Martin. Across the Flyers line. The drive. Let's see. Perron drops it off. Almost misplayed it. Now it's Dornhofer on the right wing as we get a traffic jam in the Flyers' corner. And we're going to get a face-off to the right of Perron. 4-3 Flyers. We're down to, well, where every minute's going to count from here on out.
The Flyers right now appeared that time to make sure that if they can't get that good clearing pass to get the face-off, the heat in the building has to take its wear and tear. And after we had 5 goals in the first 14 minutes, we've only had 2 more in the next 35, 12 and a half, actually 12:25 left in third period. 4-3 to score, and the stronger legs, the guttier talents are going to prevail as the heat and the wear and tear is going to tell even more late in the game.
Fred Stanfield against Bill Clement. Flyers control. Bladen in front of his own net. Off the left wing boards, picked off by Schultz. He's at center ice. Schultz wraps it to the right wing corner. In the Buffalo zone. Lorentz is there first. Selewski battles behind the net. Now picked up by Clement. Clement drops it back to the left point. Harris's shot just off the stick of Schultz, deflected wide. Schultz in the right wing corner. Gets it to Clement. Clement now to Schultz. Schultz trying to come out of the corner. Checked off the puck by Gavermont. Clement controls. To Schultz at the side of the net. Tried to throw it out to Clement, but it's blocked out by Stanfield. They battle for it behind the Buffalo net. Now on the left wing corner. Bill Haight crosses in front of Crozier to Gavermont. Tried to feed Lorentz, and it hopped off over his stick the length of the ice. And icing called against Buffalo as Dudley made a valiant leap to try and get that puck before Bladen. 11:41 to go in regulation time. It's 4-3 Flyers.
Multi-banking is for professional businessmen and precision craftsmen and real estate developers. Multi-banking is for printers and transport companies and sports teams. Multi-banking is for food manufacturers and insurance companies and hotel chains. Multi-banking is for steel manufacturers and heavy industry and conglomerates. Multi-banking is Girard Bank. Whatever your business, we can tailor a multitude of services to fit your needs. Girard Bank, the multi-banking bank.
Dudley wants the Flyers, the Sabres, to get teed up again. The only thing I can assume, Don, as we were watching our score sheet, is that Dornhofer and Dudley started bumping each other before the face-off, and Dudley went after Dornhofer. Now let's see what the penalties will be. Dorney probably will go off along with Dudley, and Dudley the much more the aggressor. And these penalties will come at 8:19. The play happened before the face-off. Dudley got a hold of Dornhofer, pounded away with the right. Dornhofer got in little of any action. And now Schoenfeld went over to ask Gilmore what's going to happen. And Dornhofer may have lost his contact lens. And he was saying, look back for it. Then he went to the penalty box. And now the penalties have been called, and we'll just have to wait for the officials. Now they're going to scoop up the gloves and the sticks, so I guess no contact lenses were lost. Barry Ashby and Mike Nicolak lead an all-star lineup at the Radnor Rink Hockey Camp beginning June 24th. For further information, call the Radnor Rink at 527-1230. They get each 2 minutes for roughing. The penalty's not yet up on the board. And 11:41 remaining as Dudley keeps challenging Dornhofer in the penalty box on the far side, but then sits down.
Jim, you had the pleasure, if you will, of seeing Rick Dudley in action during the pro lacrosse season last summer, and I remember watching one game where he was ejected from a game. And again, we see the fog here at the odd, as they call it here in Buffalo, coming up from the Flyers' end of the ice. So it's very possible we may have the skaters out again, as John D'Amico holds up play and is going over by the Flyers' penalty box to talk to Gary Dornhofer. And maybe that's what it's all about.
For Dudley, 19 minutes. For Dornhofer, 27. Dorney's second penalty of the game. And the Flyers now have picked up 6 to the Sabres score.
Clark is making motions from the Flyers bench that he wants the players to skate around to lift the fog at the Flyers' end. Lloyd Gilmore puts a halt to Don Luce and Craig Ramsey from coming out, as they've made their final line change, apparently. We're set to go with a face-off to the left of Roger Crozier at the Buffalo end. It'll be Perreault against Rick McLeish. McLeish with Barber. Both teams playing shorthanded for the next 2 minutes of play. Dudley and Dornhofer for roughing. On the face-off, Sabres controlling their own corner down below us to our left, to our right, as Schoenfeld comes up the left wing. Van Epp intercepts, but Schoenfeld gets it right back again, but outside was Rick Martin as he cut inside between Van Epp and the boards to force the offside against Buffalo.
Well, he saw Schoenfeld going to dump it in, and he tried to make that move right at the line to catch the puck, and he didn't as it was blocked, and now we're going to have to skate around. And they're booing, but I'll tell you this, forget winning or losing. The puck is bad enough to see without a fog and prevent it from being hurt. The Flyers Fan Club will hold the 5th annual convention of NHL fan clubs at the Marriott Hotel, City Line Avenue, on the weekend of August 8th, 9th, and 10th of this year. The public is welcome. Anyone wishing to attend may get further information by writing the Flyers Fan Club, care of the Spectrum, Philadelphia, the zip code 19148. 11:32 remaining. This is the second fog stoppage that we've had, and again, the scientific fact, very heavy, warm, humid air settling and reaching the cold surface of the ice and condensing into fog, and little layers, but bad enough. Those who are watching, the second from the left is Jim Robson, who is the Canadian broadcaster tonight. He usually through the season works the Vancouver Canuck games, one of the finest, and he's handling the CBC coast-to-coast network broadcast for Canada of this playoff game. That's our vantage point up there to the left of the banner, way up into the sky. Boy, is it hot up here. And it's hot on the ice with us, 4-3 Philadelphia. They're 5 aside, 1:51 remaining on the Dudley-Dornhofer roughing penalties.
On the face-off, Jim Watson controls, comes up the left wing, broken up by Rick Martin. Bill Barber battles for it across the way with Martin and Perreault. Barber gets the puck inside the Buffalo zone, and that's about as far as it goes, as the whistle is blown by referee Lloyd Gilmore. We got a stoppage and a face-off.
How much the checking and the care now of how important the last period is to both these clubs, and how much the heat is taken out of both is a moot question, but it has to be a little bit of each.
This is a must game for the Sabres, most especially, but the Flyers would like to wrap this one up here tonight and put Buffalo in a deep hole. Jim Schoenfeld controls in his own zone. Gets it up to Perreault as he streaks through center ice. Broken up by Chris. Schoenfeld controls, wheels away from McLeish on the right wing, winds it behind Parent down the right wing, boys. Parent leaves it behind his own net for Jim Watson. Up to Chris, just popped it by Korab to center ice. Korab drops it back to Heidel on the near side, just rolls it in the Flyer zone. Jim Watson controls, comes out the right side, off the right wing boards. Chris pulls, crosses to Van Imp. 1 minute exactly left on the Dudley and Dornhofer penalties. Van Imp to Jim Watson out the right side once more, pulls up short, still in his own zone. Now gets to center ice, Clement on. This time Jimmy Watson chooses to wind it right around behind the Buffalo net to the far side of the rink. Chris taps it to the left wing corner. Clement gets inside his man. Perreault comes out of the corner. Chris back to Joe Watson. Great save, Crozier. And back come the Sabres. That had goal written all over it. Clement, back-checking, breaks up Rick Martin. Now DuPont throws it to an open wing. Loose gets his open man. It's Martin. Martin fakes the shot, rolling in. Great save for Ross. Puck loose. Goal. has scored for the Sabres at 4-4.
Well, that time the Perron made a pair of fine saves, but they did not clear the rebound. It's not out there. Height of all people races across to score. And for the young Scandinavian rookie, as you look at our stat sheets, his first playoff goal. Bill Height, number 24. Rick Martin made a tremendous move past the Philadelphia defense. Perron made an even better play to block the shot. Two of them. As the Flyers moments before, Joe Watson, moments before, had a great play in Sabre. Crozier came up with the best save of the game. And quickly it was Gavremont swinging it up on the right side. Martin got a feed, cut past his man, stole the puck away. As Luce gave it to Rick. Rick got past Joe Watson, who went down on his knees, went right on in on the forehand. Perron beat him once. He beat him twice. Couldn't control the rebound off to the open side. And Height was there to drive it home at 9:56. And for the third time, Buffalo has come back to tie the game. They tied it at 2, they tied it at 3, they tied it at 4. And 9:56. Bill Height, the rookie, his first playoff goal.
Martin and Luce will get assists on the ensuing face-off. Clark now on for the Flyers control. Flips a bouncer in on Crozier. He gloves it, drops it off for Jim Schoenfeld. Game tied 4-4, brand new hockey game. Down goes Clark to Schoenfeld. Comes out the right side. He's at center ice. Schoenfeld across the line. Drops it back for Ramsey. Ramsey in turn for Korat. Closing. Shot, glove save. Cut loose. Luce's shot is knocked out by Perron. Played behind the net by Schoenfeld. Dupont off the board. Up to Dornhofer. He gets it to an open right wing. Clark goes for it. He's there first. Blocked off by Dudley. Dudley controls right down in front of us, but here comes Korat. Korat across the red line. Circles back toward his own blue line. Hits Carrier on the left side. He caddy corners it to the right wing. Kept in by Ramsey. Ramsey in the right wing corner. Back to Gavremont, and he's broken up by McLeish, and here comes Dornhofer. Dornhofer and Dudley at both outs. McLeish gets around Carrier, goes to the Buffalo right wing corner. Overskates the puck, and Luce is there. Winds around to the far side. Harris has Gear blocked up, and now the puck comes to center ice for right on the stick of Tom Bladen. Bladen dumps it right back in the Buffalo zone. Carrier can't clear. Here comes McLeish out the right wing. In the slot. Face save. Closes. Just tipped it wide. McLeish was off balance when he shot as he was checked from behind. Bouncing puck controlled by Gear. Kept in by Harris. McLeish on the left wing. McLeish's drive goes to the right wing corner. Dornhofer centering pass going there. McLeish takes it off the left wing. Blocked off by Luce. Now it goes to the right wing corner where it's Ramsey for Buffalo. He starts out the left wing. Barber can't control the puck in the zone, gets it outside and pumps it back in again on the right wing. It's Gavremont. Off the stick of Barber. Harris knocks it down on the far board. Barber overskates it, battles Gear for it, and Harris gets it back to center ice. Comes to Chris. He drops it back to Bladen at the Flyer line. Bladen from the red line pops one wide of the Buffalo net as the Flyers want a line change. Lawrence checked by Stileski. Puck kept in on the right wing of the Buffalo zone. Carrier. Good pass to Stanfield. Dudley would have been broken in alone had Van Epp not have got a piece of that pass. Van Epp behind his own net, broken up by Stanfield. Stanfield tries to roll it in from the corner, blocked off by Perron as it hit the outside of the net. Now it's Kelly. And the fog is starting to come up again at the Flyer end. Chris just rolls it to the Buffalo backboard. Kelly in there. He and Crozier go for it. Chris from the left wing corner to Kelly. Can't get a shot away. Chris to Stileski. The shot blocked by Schoenfeld. And Jim Laurent winds it to the far corner for Jerry Korab. Puck kept in by Chris along the left wing board. Puts it behind the Buffalo net. Game is tied 4-4. Bob Kelly overskates, and here comes Laurent. Right wings it to Dudley. Across the Flyers line. Dudley stops. He's checked off the puck, and back comes Jim Watson with Kelly on the left wing. Across the Buffalo line. Watson back to Kelly. His shot is wide. Comes to the near side. Kelly can't keep it in. Watson intercepted center ice. Crosses to his brother Jim on the far side. He gets inside Schoenfeld. Schoenfeld flashes 3 times at him. No penalties called. And now it's Robert back for Buffalo. Robert through center ice to Martin with Perreault. Perreault gets the pass. Shot blocked by Perron. Martin behind the net to Perreault. Shot kicked out by Perron. Bill Height, the drive. Blocked in front. Clear, but not out. Picked up by Bill Hyde again on the right face-off circle. The Perot blocked in front. And finally cleared out by Lonsbury. Not out of the zone as Leach finally gets it out. 6:20 left in regulation time. Clark forechecking on Height in the Buffalo end. He winds it all the way around to the right wing. Robert tries from the blue line. Puck deflects off a DuPont stick. Up and out of play.
With 6:12 left in regulation play, the score is 5-4.
It's coming. The Schaefer 500 at Pocono, Sunday, June 29th. The world's greatest drivers are coming to Pocono Raceway, Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. Tickets at Ticketron. Plan now. Be there. The $400,000 Schaefer 500 at Pocono. Coming from Schaefer Beer.
Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Well, the Flyers are doing the Virginia reel around their net to try to disperse the fog, which has developed here in the third period as the result of the tremendous humidity and heat of the building and that warm air on the cold ice.
Gene, I think we're looking in on a goaltenders union meeting on this fog.
Out there is Wayne Stevenson talking to Bernie Perron. It must be hot as Bernie has that man's cup. I'll tell you this. The Flyers had the Sabres pretty well under wraps. They were checking very well. The shots were 30-23. But then with that Height goal, they've come buzzing and flying again as they've used that as an impetus and a spark to see if they can't take the lead. 4-4 the score with 6:12 left in the game. The third period. Remember, we keep playing until somebody wins.
The French connection stays out there for Buffalo. They've been double shifting them in this game, trying to climb back and climb back. Several times they have. Perot on the face-off with McLeish. In the Flyers zone, drive by Perot. Snap wide. Hits the backboard behind Perron. DuPont starts out. Cuts in front of Perron. Hits Barber in the left wing. Crosses to the right for Dornhoff at center ice. Dorney rolls it inside the Buffalo zone. Barber trying to get a stick on it, but here comes Gabermont with Martin. Gabermont ahead to Rick Martin. The big blast is blocked out by Joe Watson. Gets another shot away. Perot out front. A drive goes over the net. Off the stick of Robert. Back comes Rick McLeish. McLeish taken down by Robert. No penalty call. Martin broken up. Puck kept in the Flyer zone. Gabermont shot hopped over the net and out of the glass and out of play. Well, Lloyd Gilmore letting everything go here in period number 3.
Now, it looked like there could have been a call there on McLeish being pulled down, but we've had a pretty clean game. There have only been 10 penalties called, 6 to the Flyers. We've had no power play goals. And thus far in the 3 games, that's 8 periods, plus 15 minutes of this one. We've only had 1 major penalty. And that was the misconduct to Don Luce. We've had no 5-minute majors yet.
Gene, it's notable that the Flyers have dropped their per-game penalty minute average from 24 during the regular season to 14 here in the playoffs.
Big factor in keeping Buffalo away, and the Islanders and even Toronto. You just can't give too many power play opportunities.
Face off on the Flyers' left wing inside their own zone. Puck loose, kept in by Korath. Goes right between the legs of Danny Gare to the far corner to our left. Jimmy Watson tried to clear, but was blocked off by Gare. Gets around to Leach on the right wing. Leach hits Clark at center ice. Can't control it. Lonsbury broken up as Gare cuts inside. Drops it back to Korath in the Buffalo zone. Off the near side wing, Lonsbury overskated it, as did Ramsey. His Leach breaking it up. Leach on the left wing. Pulls the puck back. Crosses for the front on the stick of Don Luce. Luce breaks up ice with Ramsey across the Flyers line. Broken up by Clark. And back come the Flyers. Up and down action. Clark gets inside the zone, but it's broken up. Leach goes for the puck with Gare to the right wing corner. He winds around the far side. Kept in by DuPont. The drive. Knocked down by Crozier. Now it's Joe Watson. Off the backhand behind the net for Lonsbury. Deflects right on the stick of John Fountain. He clears to the backboard. Leach tries to throw it out front. And it's cleared up to Craig Ramsey. He's through center ice. Ramsey across the Flyers line. Pulls up short. Ramsey puts it to the Flyers' left wing corner. Gare centering pass. Intercepted, and Lonsbury sends Crisp away. Crisp is broken up by Korath, who's much the bigger of the two, but Terry stays right with his man. Puck loose in the Buffalo zone. Carrier clears it out to the Flyers zone, and it's DuPont on the left wing. Sends it the length of the ice. This will be icing against the Flyers. And so with 4:11 left in regulation time, this game is tied 4-4.
Ford announces a no-nonsense $250 off the sticker price on not just any new car, but America's best-selling newcomer, Ford Granada. in a limited edition you can order now. Specially equipped with new exterior trim, a new bench seat and vinyl door trim. Also $250 off unlimited edition Granadas with options like air conditioning and power steering. Comes in 3 feature colors in 2- and 4-door models. Quantities are limited.
Ford means value. See your Ford dealer's complete value lineup now.
Don Earl backs upstairs here at Buffalo's War Memorial Auditorium as the Sabres have come back 3 times to tie this game. 2-2, 3-3, and 4-4. Faceoffs to the left of Perron. Clark wins it, sends it behind his net. DuPont cut off by Spencer, but Joe Watson covers. Hits Fleming on the left wing. Dumps it to center ice, but it's controlled by Carrier. Offside Buffalo as Carrier fired it back in the Flyer zone. Jim Laurent, among a few other Sabres, still in the zone, forcing the offside against Buffalo. Well, if the Flyers should win tonight, they'll force the series to Thursday night with a chance to wrap it up. It'll be match point Thursday night if the Flyers win tonight. If Buffalo wins tonight, they get a chance to climb back on Thursday night and send this series back to Philadelphia all even. Puck goes behind the Flyer net to the far boards. Laurent kicks it to the corner for Spencer. Back to Laurent. Holding. Hits the post. Laurent almost beats Perron from the short side and covered up by the Flyers defense as Perron sits down backwards to stop play with the puck beneath him. And again, the fog starts to rise from the Flyers' end as that puck came dangerously close. Perron just closing the floodgates at the short side post as Laurent came steaming out of that far corner and almost beating Perron to that short side. Got enough of the pad on it to stop play. These Sabres never quit. They keep clawing back, very reminiscent of the way the Islanders played the Flyers. Although the Sabres have not proved during the regular season or in playoff competition, at least as far as the Flyers are concerned, of being that good a road team. The Flyers would be most content, I'm sure, to split the series here in Buffalo and send it back to the Spectrum for what they would hope to be a Sunday finish. And again, the fog problem stops play as players from both teams are out there to skate around. Apparently, the motion of the body creates an airstream that dissipates the fog. But it doesn't, it's just a quick cure. It's not a cure-all. It's, as we've seen, this is the 3rd fog stoppage, if you will. That may be a Stanley Cup playoff record, too. I don't know. But it's, we talked with Al Meltzer between the periods, and he said he's never, when he lived here, ever seen it go above 80 degrees in May, as it did today, and is expected to do again tomorrow. So we could have the same problem here Thursday night. It is like a finished sauna bath up here in the booth. Everyone is just soaking wet. And if it's warm up here, of course, heat does rise, but it's going to be awfully warm for the players down there as well. And the cheers for Let's Go Buffalo ring up again from the jam-packed auditorium. Face off to the left of Perron. Stansfield against Clark. Puck goes to the left wing corner. Jimmy Watson starts up the left wing board, gets to center ice, deals out to Selesky. Selesky off of Gavermont inside the Buffalo zone, controlled in the right wing corner by Carrier. Up to Spencer, wing to wing. Laurent back to Spencer, but Barber got a piece of it to break it up. Selesky now goes to the loose puck across the way at center ice. Now picked up by Jim Watson. Gets inside. Selesky goes to the left wing corner. Centering pass, no one there. Taken off the right wing boards by Barber. Turnaround blocked out by Spencer, and it comes across the blue line to center ice on the left wing. Barber waits for his teammates to clear, fires in on Crozier, makes the save, rebounds to Spencer on the left wing. Flyers send out Dornhofer. A drive from center ice by Lawrence goes to the Flyer backboard. Just over 3 minutes left in regulation time. DuPont up to Barber on the left wing. Off the left wing boards, McLeish now on for the Flyers. Across the Buffalo line. Gets by Schoenfeld. Hits the outside of the post. Watson drive, in tight, blocked by Crozier. Dornhofer's shot goes wide. Oh, some great scoring opportunities for the Flyers right there. Back comes Dornhofer, crosses to McLeish. McLeish to Barber, left wing, his drive is wide. Joe Watson at the right point. Can't keep it in, gets by him. Joe Watson back passes up the near wing. Picked up by McLeish. McLeish circled away from Perreault, now on for the Sabres. DuPont ahead for Dornhofer. Too far for him to reach in the Buffalo zone. And a to center ice. Rick Martin picks it up across the fly line. The shot taken away by Dupont. And Martin gives it away to Clark. Clark through center ice. Stopped at the Buffalo line by Gavermont. Back to Perot with Martin breaking. The left side called against Buffalo. And the Buffalo fans are not happy with John and Coach Cole. I'd like to remind you that the next TV game will be this coming Thursday on Channel 29 and WCAU Radio, starting at 8 o'clock when the Flyers meet the Sabres for their 4th Stanley Cup Finals game. And Thursday's game will also be heard on WAMS in Wilmington, Delaware. Great action by these two clubs as the score will attest is 4-4. 2:07 left in regulation time. Gene Hart making the long climb down to our interview position once more. And the event this game does, in fact, go into sudden death overtime. Gilbert Perot looks up at the clock. Reg Leach sets himself as he is right alongside Rene Robert. On the face-off, Clark gets it to Leach. He drives it back to Jimmy Watson on the left side in the Flyers' defensive zone. Watson gets it not out of the zone, but to the right wing board. Forced deeper by the forechecky of Perot. Now it's Van Imp. Overskates it. Can't clear out. Robert finally can't handle it as the puck comes to Leach. Leach drives from outside. Breaks the blade of his stick. Has to get new one. Clark goes for the loose puck. Laundry can't control it. Here comes Gavermont with Perot leading the rush. Open man is Martin. Left wing. Martin. The big drive. Big save, Perrant. It goes up on the netting behind Perrant. The face-off, however, will be in the Flyers' end to the right of Perrant. 1:33 left in regulation time. The lead pass was to Martin, who was wide open. He gave it the big blast, and Perrant just managed to get a piece of it enough to deflect it to the backboard, and it popped right up on the twine. And apparently because Perrant did get a piece of it, that's why the faceoff comes inside the Flyers' end. Of course, if Perrant had not gotten a piece of it, that puck could have been in. This is very reminiscent of some of the games we've had in late season in St. Louis, where it gets quite warm at this time of the year. Face off to the right of Perrant on the Flyers and controlled by the Flyers. Flyers go at Clark, Barber, Laundry. Laundry pinned to the far boards by Robert. Puck controlled by Joe Watson. Can't clear it out. Perot keeps it in. Robert keeps it in. Puts it behind the net. Martin goes with Dupont in the left wing corner. But now Barber has it. Barber just wants to clear, and he does. He ices the puck as we're down to just over a minute left in regulation time. And again, fog starts up at both ends of the ice, and Perrant is asking for the skaters to clear the fog before the game continues. Now, whether he'll get his wish, he will. Flyers are out. Apparently, the goaltender has the say when he wants that fog cleared before the game will continue. And now there's a fog seen at the Buffalo end as well. Not as much, but it's there. Of course, the pace of the game itself hasn't made for a cool evening here in Buffalo either. Reminds you of good old London town, doesn't it? Or San Francisco. Seems to me Tony Bennett sang all about that city. Punch Imlach sitting alongside Frank King Clancy and Harold Ballard. There's the temperature inside the building. 87 it registers. Thank you to our producer director, Mr. Harlan Singer. He's got better eyes than I have. Well, he's closer to the monitor. He should. Mine are fogging up, too. Well, apparently the fog has lifted sufficiently for play to continue. That's the fourth fog stoppage in tonight's game. 4-4 the tie, and it appears as though, unless something happens in the next minute, 8 seconds, as though we're going to be facing sudden death overtime here in Buffalo. Don Luce with Ramsey and Gare for the Sabres. Clark, Barber, and McLeish up front for the Flyers. Puck rolls wide of Perrant, plays it off for Dupont on the left wing. Up to McLeish, can't control it. Korab has it. Drills it back in the left wing corner. 1 minute left in regulation time. Dupont behind the Flyer net. Out the left wing. Comes to the head for McLeish. McLeish has it taken away from him by Don Luce. Back at the Buffalo line, Jerry Korab on the left now to Schoenfeld. Schoenfeld drills it off the Flyers backboard. DuPont controls it. Buffalo playing to the overtime. Can't control the pass, and Barber skates it out on the right wing. And Clark gets behind Schoenfeld, but he's bumped hard by Korab. Puck loose in the right wing corner of the Buffalo zone. And finally, we got a whistle with 29 seconds left in regulation time. Still time to do something about it. Clark gets up slowly. Well, he hasn't gotten up yet. He's down on one knee. Now Schoenfeld is discussing some point of rule with referee Lloyd Gilmore, and apparently Lloyd Gilmore doesn't want to talk about it. Clark now up on both feet as he was buying a bit of resting time there. Schoenfeld and Korab go to the Buffalo bench. And they'll be replaced by Bill Height and Josh Gavermont. Face off to the left of Crozier. 29 seconds to go in regulation time. Clark, McLeish, and Barber with DuPont and Jim Watson. Clark can't control the face-off. The Sabres get it, and they'll chew up what little remains on the clock. 23 seconds. They'll be in no hurry. They'll take no chances. Height starts out. Broken up by Clark at the Buffalo line. Now picked up by Jimmy Watson. Waits for McLeish to clear and drives it around the boards. Crozier gets back in his net as Barber penetrated. Blocked off on the right wing by Bill Height. Puck goes the length of the ice. This will be icing 3. This will run out time in regulation time. There's the buzzer. We've got sudden death overtime coming up. At the end of regulation time, the score, the Flyers 4 and the Sabres 4.
You are the only reason you're the one. We take pride.
Coming in front, he couldn't get his shot away, and Clark wheels out. Clark getting it up on the wing to Leach. Leach coming over center. The long shot, he fired it high and wide off the glass. Comes around on the boards here, getting it out to Luce. Luce tried to get it over to Ramsey, but it rolls to Jim Watson. Dumped it right back in again. Crozier leaving it behind the net. Korab back after it. Korab around to Ramsey. Let it go to center ice to Luce. He couldn't get it free. Now Clark. He's bothered. It goes over the line, and it's called on the offside right at the Buffalo blue line.
Right off the top, Gary Ramsey and Luce had a fair opportunity, but the puck just wouldn't work its way into the slot area in front of Perron onto a Buffalo player's stick, and Philadelphia brought it out of their end. Now the face-off outside the Buffalo line, the French connection on the ice. Jocelyn Gavermont and Billy Height against Bill Barber, Rick McLeish, Gary Dornhofer, Eddie Van Imp, and Jimmy Watson.
Played 32 seconds in the first overtime period. Here's Jim Watson firing it around behind Crozier. It goes to the corner. Dornhofer gets there first, trying to clear it out in front. McLeish into the corner with Gavermont. They jam in there. McLeish kicks it free to Perreault. Perreault behind his own net. Around on the boards for Robert. Robert dumping it ahead to Martin. Martin chases after it into the corner. Here's Martin hustling after the puck behind the net. But play is called, and it's been ruled icing against Buffalo.
I believe it's been ruled an offside pass, Rick. I don't like to correct you, but I think that Martin was astride over that, was just ahead of the puck as it went across the red line and one of the lines, and consequently ruled offside when he touched it. He was trying to break it indeed, as Don Dusais predicted that they'd come out and go for it quick.
Well, you can't blame either club for that, the Heat especially. Perreault against McLeish again. Puck rolls back to Height, giving it to Gavermont. Back over to Height again. Height looks for Martin, finds him at center ice, trying to get around Van Imp. He did. He was dumped, but there'll be no penalty called. Watson behind his own net, clears it off the boards. Gavermont knocks it down at center, trying to find a hole, dumps it back over the Philadelphia line. Van Imp clears it up ahead to Dornhofer. He lost it to Robert. Over it goes to Martin over the line. Quick shot off Watson's leg into the corner. Barber picks it up, dumps it in behind the net for Van Imp. Up it goes to Dornhofer. Dornhofer's long pass knocked down by Gavermont. Ahead it goes to Robert over the line. He's jammed against the boards, got it free. It bounces in front of the net. After it goes Dornhofer. Dornhofer turns in his own zone, comes to center ice. Still has the puck up over the line, going in on goal. He's knocked down. No penalty there. Lloyd Gilmore obviously isn't going to call anything here in the overtime. Back comes Martin again. Martin up over the line. Martin goes in, tries to drop it back to Stanfield, but it's broken up, and back comes Kelly. Kelly over the Buffalo line, stops, cutting in front of the net, and he's checked by Korab and Schoenfeld. Kelly gets it again. Schoenfeld jams him against the boards. They wrestle for it in there. Martin gets back in the act as well. Puck came free to Crisp in the corner. Here's Chris trying to get it out in front. Chris still has the puck. Back it comes to Joe Watson. A shot right on. Crozier grabs that and hangs onto it. And Schoenfeld is down in the corner and appears to be injured.
I thought for a minute he was just laying on top of a Philadelphia player and trying to make sure the guy didn't get up before he got up, but Schoenfeld has injured himself in some way or another. Maybe his leg. He's up on both knees now, but his left leg dragging behind him. Trainer Frank Christie coming on the ice, and Big Jim Schoenfeld fast maturing into one of the NHL's fine defensemen. Only 22 years old and already captain of his team and a veteran down on the ice, and he's got his left leg out in back of him, and he's not putting any weight on it as he gets up at this point. So it appears to be a leg or ankle injury of some sort. Referee Lloyd Gilmore going over to see Schoenfeld and Frank Christie and see what's going on. Schoenfeld limping, gimping as he skates and is going to make his way to the bench. Could be, he got a Charlie horse too. Sometimes in the strain they do, they get pretty sore, Rick.
Almost lost trainer Frank Christie there for a moment. His feet slipped out from under him, and Schoenfeld grabbed him to keep him up. Final at Buffalo. Crisp against Stanfield. It came back. Lorenz is knocked down. Joe Watson keeps it in. Height has it. Height, a pass over on the wing to Dudley. Dudley hustles after it over center ice. Clears it in behind the Philadelphia net. DuPont into the corner. Lorenz trying to keep it in. He does to Stanfield, trying to whip it out in front. Lorenz went after it again. Came around on the boards for Selesky. Selesky's pass intercepted, but then Kelly picks it up. Kelly takes a long shot. It bounces behind the Buffalo net. Height around on the boards to Lorenz. Lorenz starting out of his own zone. A long pass knocked down by Lonsbury. Lonsbury over the Buffalo line. Hit Lorenz with it. It goes to the corner. Lorenz and Lonsbury jam in there. Korab gets in, knocks Lonsbury off stride, and play is called.
Ross Lonsbury hit by Jerry Korab. Got up and you can tell the hockey players are tired now because he came off of that bounce and he was so wobbly and he wasn't even hit that hard. Just fatigue, I'm sure, is setting in that he held on to Jerry Korab. He lost his balance skating away from the little pileup and just grabbed all the Korab and held on. And they have to be playing on sheer, as conditioned as they are, Rick, in this building at this time, they have to be playing sheerly on adrenaline.
Loose against Clark on the face-off. It came back to Leach, but Gere got in front of that. Kept in by the Flyers. Clark in the corner, watched by Carriere. Carriere jams Clark in there. It came around on the boards, kept in by Jim Watson. He tried to clear it in front. Gavremont breaks it up and starts back again. A pass to center ice to Ramsey. He knocks it down. Here's Ramsey over the Philadelphia line. Shoots one. He fired it high off the glass. Back to Carriere. He took a whack at it. Van Imp kicked it right to Clark. Clark, a pass to Jim Watson, starting back for Philadelphia. Up over center to the Buffalo line. Put it on Carriere's skate. Back comes Gere. Up ahead to Ramsey. Up over the line. Ramsey blasts the shot. He fired it wide. Gavremont a whack at it. That deflects into the corner. Ramsey trying to kick it free. They all push and shove in there. And finally, play is called. And now we've played 3 minutes, 38 seconds in the first overtime.
Something that Craig Ramsey, I think, has improved in his career in the NHL, and that is his shot. He now has a much harder shot. I think at least he's able to get it away quicker, let's put it that way, when he comes in on the wing than he did when he came out of junior hockey. He's not what you call a big shooter, but he gets an awful lot more pucks on the net and a lot harder than he used to. The face-off to Perron's left. Perron wants him to skate the fog off, and Lloyd Gilmore and he are talking now, and we'll have to see. That's a little ploy, I think, right now, Rick, could be.
Well, whatever it is, Gilmore says that's what they're going to do, is come out and skate it off.
Well, as I said before, you can't blame the goaltenders, and I can't blame him if he can't see the puck.
The back of the bench, although I can't see him right at this moment. On the face-off, it's picked up by Barber. A pass to Dornhofer at center. Dornhofer fired it off Korab. Crozier came out of the net to clear it into the corner. Martin has it there. Martin off the boards to Perro. Perro steps away from one. He's knocked down by Joe Watson. No penalty there. Now it's cleared into the corner. Korab goes after it. Korab turns behind his own net. Has difficulty controlling the puck. and waits for Martin to come back. Martin goes by. Korab comes out the other side. A pass ahead to Martin at center. He goes after it. Martin is hauled down. Finally, there'll be a penalty. DuPont will go hooking as the call. I'll tell you, referee Lloyd Gilmore let an awful lot of calls go before he finally got a hold of that one. And he couldn't ignore them all forever, I guess.
No, I guess not. And DuPont, really, if he didn't take Martin down then, I think Martin's going in on goal alone. So he had to take him out of the play, and he did it. Hooked him to the ice. Buffalo have a power play opportunity. Chance to win this hockey game here with 4:18 gone in the first overtime. And out on the ice for the power play, Richard Martin's leaning on the boards at the left side. Stanfield, Martin, and Perreault. Back at the points, Jocelyn Gavermont and Rene Robert. Jimmy Watson, Eddie Van Imp, along.
Buffalo the odd man advantage here in overtime. It goes to the boards. Martin goes after it, gets it in the corner in front of the net. Perreault missed it. Back to Robert, a blast. He fired it wide. Around to Gavermont. Gavermont clears it back in behind the Philadelphia net. In the corner, Perreault picks it up. Perreault dumps it out in front. Martin tipped it right in front of the net. Stanfield couldn't get it. Cleared around on the boards again, and it's picked up by Barber. Barber dumps it down the ice for Clark. Clark picks it up, but he's offside as soon as he touches it. And 1:36 remaining in the penalty.
Sabres came dangerously close that time. They didn't get a shot on Perron, but that puck flew around the front of the net. Perreault and Martin both working around the front of the net. Face off at the outer edge of the circle now to Bernie Perron's left. And Martin, after Clark had won the draw, worked real hard to get it and keep the play in the Philadelphia end. He jumped the draw wisely and picked up the puck before a Philadelphia player could get it.
Just noticed that the gentleman who was ejected in the first period after that penalty box altercation is back in his seat again. Maybe we thought he was ejected.
Maybe he gets a new start because it's overtime. I don't know.
Perreault to face off against McLeish this time. Comes back to Stanfield, tried to get it to Robert, but it rolls down the ice. Back after it, Robert being watched by Lonsbury. Robert in behind the net, trying to get away from Lonsbury, stops to do it. Now Robert up on the wing to Martin. Martin's pass rolls over to Stanfield. Back it goes to Perreault. Perreault over center, over the Philadelphia line. Going in, he took his shot. It hit Jimmy Watson. It hit the net, right in front as Stanfield took a whack at it. But Perront made the save, and back comes Lonsbury. Lonsbury over the Buffalo line. He blasted a shot high off the glass. McLeish keeping it in there. Lonsbury recovers behind the net. Lonsbury doing the penalty-killing job. It comes free to Gavermont. Gavermont starts out, a pass up on the wing to Perreault again. Perreault over center, over the Philadelphia line. Perreault into the corner, stops, still has it. Rolls it back, it goes to Korab. He shoots right in front of the net. Stanfield on the rebound. Back it comes to Korab again. Korab fired it around behind the net. Perront stops it in there. Jimmy Watson has it. He clears it up on the boards. Clement dumping it up for McLeish, and Robert is there. 30 seconds remaining in the penalty. Stanfield has the puck. Stanfield back to Robert. He's knocked off stride. Korab carries on. Korab up over the line. Shoots one. He fired that one high. McLeish trying to keep it in. Robert can't. It rolls down the ice. After it goes Clement. Korab after him. Korab knocking it behind his own net. Clears it back the other way with 8 seconds remaining in the penalty. Korab getting it up to McNabb, who runs into Crisp and knocks him down. It's cleared back into the Buffalo zone. Robert back after it again. The Flyers back at full strength. Crisp keeping it in there. Here's Zaleski going after it in the corner. Korab belts him into the boards heavily. It goes around behind the net for Robert. Robert dumps a pass, can't get it out, goes after it again. Dudley chopped at it, kept in by Crisp. And it goes to Dudley. Dudley starting back down the ice, over center, over the Philadelphia line. Dudley took his shot, the backhand, and went behind the net. Martin goes after it with Kelly, and Dudley falls. Along the board, Zaleski picks it up, ahead to Crisp. Crisp coming up over the Buffalo line, it's offside.
And in action there, the Sabres had a couple of chances, but couldn't pay off with good shots in the net on the power play, so the Flyers have killed it off, and there's 13:06 remaining in the first overtime. And are we going to get another fog skate? I guess not. Yes, we are. I see several players from each team now out here in the overtime. Of course, the penalty helped that, but they have had a bit of the edge in the play, but have been able to finish off around the net.
Schoenfeld came out for just a moment. Now he comes back to the bench. Here's DuPont, a long shot. Crozier grabs that beside the net, leaves it for Height. Height turns to get away from Clark. Off the boards, all the way to center. DuPont recovers. He flipped it back the other way, and Carrier hustles back after it. Carrier behind his own net, being watched by Lonsbury. Now Carrier sliding it up to Don Luce. Luce pulls away, comes to center. Let the long shot go off a leg. Gare on the rebound off the leg, but couldn't get his shot away. It goes from behind the net, and back come the Flyers again. Lonsbury over center. Cleared it over the line. Back after it, Ramsey. Ramsey tips it away. Up over the Philadelphia line. Dropped it back, but it went behind Gare. Now the Flyers start back again. Lonsbury, he lets a shot go. That went wide. Luce, knocking it, but not out. Gets it again and starts right back again. Luce comes over center. Let the long shot go. That one bounced. Almost fooled Bernie Perron after it hit somebody. Barber clears the puck out to center ice to Clement. Clement coming down the ice, up over the line. That's offside. Leach got in there too early. 12:03 remaining here in the first overtime.
Reggie Leach trying to break in off the right wing. Beat Bell Clement over the blue line. John Amico whistled it right down. Sabres caught a little bit on a change as that play occurred. The Martin Perreault and Robert line coming on the ice, or attempting to come on the ice. And once again, they'll face McLeish, Barber, and Dornhofer, the same line they've looked at all night.
Perreault against McLeish. It slides back inside the Philadelphia line. Jim Watson retrieves it. Watson lost it in front of the net to Perreault. He shoots. Oh, Perron beat him. Watson lost the puck, and Perreault stole it, walked right in on Perron. He tried to pull him, put it in the short side, but Perron made the save.
Perreault walked in all alone when Watson lost it, and he did try and pull him. Perron very, very sharp. He just stayed with Perreault, and Perreault had to come in and make the shot quick. He shot on the forehand.
Now play underway again. Van Imp clears it off the boards. It goes to Dornhofer to McLeish at center. McLeish clears it into the corner. Off the boards. Crozier dumped it in behind the net. Dornhofer tried to clear it out in front. Perreault can't get it out. McLeish's shot. It's right in front of the net. There's the shot. And that's grabbed and held by Crozier as Korab knocks down Dornhofer.
Very sharp on that play, goalie Roger Crozier for the Sabres, and he has looked very sharp since he's come into the game tonight at the beginning of the second period.
Both coaches making very rapid line changes now, and no wonder, of course.
Perreault didn't have much time and much space to work with. He was already to the right of the net. He didn't have enough time to swing back to the middle, and Perron just stayed with him. Perreault kept it on the forehand and tried to stuff it in the short side just a moment ago, but Perron with the big save, the game saver at this point.
McNabb comes out with Stanfield and Lorenz. Height and Gavremont against Chris, Kelly, Selesky, Van Imp, and Jim Watson. The face-off, it rolls right to Lorenz. He comes straight down the ice, over center, over the line, took his shot, deflected off a stick, and ends up going over top of the glass.
Well, there's no question in my mind anymore, Rick, watching these two hockey clubs. They are, I would have to say, exhausted. Notice Jimmy Lorenz skating up the ice, really laboring skating. The only thing that just about everyone else has slowed down a bit too. But they're working as hard as ever, but they can't make the legs go as well as ever. And here we go with the fog bowl again. Maybe I should learn how to do play-by-play on clearing the fog, but Smith used that to make a change, Rick, and the Flyers unable to make a change, and now they're trying to change, and Lloyd Gilmore's sending them back.
Well, the point is they could have made their change before. Now if they wait much longer, they're going to have to skate and clear out the fog again.
Now Terry Crisp says they should skate some more to clear the fog, right? So they can make another change. Gilmore blew the whistle, and then he tried to change after he blew the whistle, and that's why he won't let them change.
Face-off will be just inside the Philadelphia line. Perreault against Crisp. Height moves right up on the blue line, but it rolls through to Jim Watson. Watson inside his own zone, off the boards. He hit the referee, got it back again. And Watson starts away, coming to center. Up over center, cleared it over the line. It's called on the offside as Kelly got in there.
Kelly was busting for the goal, and both teams taking those kind of chances. One forward is just hoping, shall we say, a little bit of hope involved in that kind of a case, that pass will get through, not waiting to see whether he's going to be onside, just taking a gamble that the pass will get through and he will be onside. And here come some of the Sabres clearing the fog around Roger Crozier. And here they go back to the bench. No. The fans here now getting upset. They don't. You're right, Rick. Many of them don't understand what's happening. You have your radio here in the auditorium and you are listening to this game. Honestly, the fog is really bad down there.
We'll see who's coming out for Buffalo now. Perreault, Robert, and Martin are going to remain out there. They went to the bench, but they came back on the ice. And Flyers were going to try and make a change, and Gilmore says no. He's having his difficulties this evening as well. They'll drop the puck outside the Buffalo blue line. A 4-4 tie, 11-14 remaining in the first overtime period. Martin chops it over to Gavremont. Gavremont tried to pass. It bounces high at center. Robert knocked it down over the line, trying to get in on goal. He can't get his shot away. It's picked up along the boards. Perreault knocked it free. Back it comes to Height. Here's Height's shot. Oh, that deflects way up into the crowd as it went off Eddie Van Impe.
Frustrated Billy Height had a good chance, not in close, but to get a good clean shot away on Bernie Perron, and Van Impe came over to tip it away and up over the glass. The face-off out to Bernie Perron's right, just off the edge of the face-off circle, about 15 feet inside the Philadelphia line, and face-off of the Philadelphia end. And here we go with the big skate again.
Well, not really, because Lloyd Gilmore is telling the players no skate this time. He's probably saying to them, I'll decide when you're going to skate. They're not paying any attention. They're all out there again, or most of them.
Well, Rick, the way we're going, 10:57 left. This one goes into a second overtime. If it should, we are going to have a two-day hockey game.
Yes, we certainly are.
How's your voice, Rick?
It's great.
The crowd is really tense in here now. It's noisy, but it's almost like a background level of excitement and tension rather than the kind of cheers that you hear during the normal course of a hockey game in the auditorium.
To really make you feel great, Paul, the longest overtime was into 6 periods in NHL playoff history. Ramsey keeping it in the Philadelphia zone. It goes around on the boards. Korab can't keep it in. It's knocked down the ice. Clement goes after it. Schoenfeld after him. Clement carries on. Schoenfeld knocks him down. Puck is underneath them in the corner. And finally play is called.
And a face-off to Roger Crozier's right. And each one of these face-offs in a defending or attacking zone, very critical to both teams. And Bobby Clark out there, of course, to take the face-off for Philadelphia. By the way, Jim Schoenfeld has returned to action, so whatever injury was, it might have been a muscle cramp, easy enough to happen.
Schoenfeld wanted another skate with the face-off in the Buffalo zone, but Gilmore says no. Loose against Clark on the face-off. Gare and Lonsbury got in too early. They'll have to do it again.
Oh, Rick, I can't ever remember, as if anybody cares, being any warmer ever.
Here it comes back to DuPont. The shot right on, and Crozier snared that one and held on to it.
Good save by Roger Crozier. Cherry picked that one right off the front of his mask. Good shot, good draw by Bobby Clark, who drew it back to Andre DuPont, and he fired a good one from the left point, inside the point.
Loose against Clark again. They jam in the face-off circle. Puck is tied up in there. Finally, it comes free and rolls into the corner. Lonsbury after it. Ramsey after him. Around to the boards. Joe Watson put it right on the stick of Schoenfeld. Oh, he didn't see Gare, who was all alone. And Schoenfeld goes down. Cleared up along the board. Schoenfeld gets it again. Tipped it, but it's picked up by the Flyers. Reggie Leach over the line. Checked by Korab. Ramsey knocks it out. Coming down the ice with Loose. Ramsey took his shot. That's Gare. Here's Ramsey in the rebound. A shot. And Clark fell in front of that to block it. Clark in the corner for Philadelphia. Knocked it back to Joe Watson. In behind his own net. Gives it to DuPont. DuPont dumped it out to center. Schoenfeld covers up. Schoenfeld fires it off the boards. It rolls into the Flyer zone. Sabres change on the go. Back comes DuPont. DuPont up over center. Clears it into the Buffalo corner. In behind the net. DuPont after it. He and Gavermont wrestle against the boards and hold it right there for the face-off. Now we pass 10-minute mark in the first overtime period. 9:38 remaining.
I think we may get a little fog. No Foxgate, but both clubs very tired. Now holding on for face-offs at every opportunity. Just afraid to take any chances and really stuck. This is the second longest overtime game this playoff year. It'll have to go by the 17-minute mark to become the longest. 17:06 mark become the longest of this playoff year.
Ready for the face-off. Stanfield against Crisp. It goes back to Carrier behind his own net. Around on the boards to Lorenz. Lorenz runs into Jimmy Watson. Can't get it out. The Flyers keep it in there. Back in behind the net, Carrier. Carrier up along the boards. It bounced off McNabb's skate all the way back inside the Philly line. Van Imp over to Jim Watson. His long pass ahead to Crisp. That goes all the way down the ice. This time the Flyers will be called for icing.
And this time the face-off to go to Bernie Perron's left. And out come the skate. Let's see, you got to have a fog squad here, like a taxi squad. The guys that are Lee Fogelin is...
and Jim Watson for the Flyers. They'll drop the puck to the left of Perrant. Perro against McLeish. Whoops, hold on a second. Barber's in there too early. Now it comes back to Korab. Quick shot. That hit Barber's leg and bounces to the corner. Jimmy Watson after it. Dumps it around on the boards for Barber. Korab knocked it down but couldn't keep it in. They pin it against the boards right in front of the Buffalo bench just outside the Philadelphia blue line.
Many things we could talk about, but if we get many face-offs more, there aren't going to be any things we can talk about anymore, Rick. There's been about a face-off every 10 seconds lately.
That rolls over the Flyer line. Martin couldn't get away from Dornhofer. Van Imp starts back again. He clears a bouncing shot. Crozier grabs it and leaves it for Korab. Korab off the boards trying to get it to Martin, but he fell down. Van Imp took a whack at it. That went in behind the net. Schoenfeld picks it up. Schoenfeld dumps it out as far as center ice. Jimmy Watson has to go back after it. Watson right at center. Fired it back into the Buffalo zone. Crozier leaving it behind the net for Schoenfeld. Over to Martin. Martin tips it off the boards, back to center again. Joe Watson is out there. He knocks it up for Dornhofer, but Schoenfeld clears it, not out. It finally came out, back in again. McLeish goes after it. Here's McLeish trying to cut in front. It rolls to the other side and is belted down the ice by Robert, but it won't be called icing. Back after it, Joe Watson. Off the boards, giving it to Dornhofer. Trying to get away from Martin, he does. Dornhofer up over center. Gives it to McLeish, broken up by Gare. Ahead to Perro. Here's Perro coming down the ice. Over the line. Perro takes his shot. He fired that one off the glass. Martin trying to keep it in. He lost it. And back come the Flyers again. Lonsbury at center. Lonsbury takes a long shot. Crozier tipped it into the corner. After it goes Billy Height. Height up ahead to Martin. Martin speeding away. Over the line. Shoots one. He blasted that one high. Gare trying to keep it in there. Runs into Jim Watson. It's cleared but not out. Here's Martin on the backhand. Knocked down by Jimmy Watson. It's tipped away and finally Leach comes up with it. Leach along the board. Starts to work out. Gets away from one. Up over the Buffalo line. Going to the corner. Watched by Ramsey who knocked him off the puck. They both go to the ice. Now Gare can't get it out. It rolls through to Crozier. Picked up by Gavermont. Long pass over to Luce. Luce comes over center, fires it off the boards in the corner. Gare on the rebound. He dumped it in behind the net. It goes to Luce again. Back in around for Ramsey. Clark comes up with it. He lost it. Luce trying to keep it in there. It went to Gare. He tipped at it and couldn't pick it up. Now Leach starting back for Philadelphia. At center, another long bouncing shot. Crozier knocking that into the corner. Korab has it. Korab gets away from Clement. Here's Korab straight down the ice. Dumps it into the corner. Dudley goes after it, but Perrant came out. Perrant broke his goal stick. Now it's picked up and fired down the ice by DuPont. A good play because he'd seen that his goaltender had broken his stick. And he got the whistle, but the face-off on the icing will be back to the right of Perrant with 6:36 remaining in the first overtime.
A heads-up play by Andre DuPont. Perron broke his goal stick when he tried to poke the puck away from Rick Dudley. Dudley cruising around the side of the net. He may have caught his stick actually against Dudley's skates or something. It snapped right off the top of the shaft, and DuPont got rid of it as soon as he could so that Bernie Perron could get a new goal stick here. And the face-off will be to Perron's right after that icing. Stanfield, Lorenz, Dudley, Gavremont, and Carrier on the ice.
And Stanfield will face off against Terry Crisp. Came back to Dudley, couldn't get his shot away. It's tipped ahead and back down the ice comes Clement. Clement over center, the long bouncing shot wide of the net, goes to the corner. Selesky tried to tip it in front, broken up by Carrier. Around on the boards for Dudley, too far, DuPont couldn't pick it up, but Chris hustles back and covers up. It's cleared, back to center again. Lorenz takes a belt from DuPont. Gavremont lost it. Crisp goes after it in the corner. Gavremont chasing him. In behind the net, Stanfield can't pick it up. It came free right beside the net. They jam at it. Clement is knocked down in the corner. Lorenz picks it up, tips it ahead for Stanfield. Joe Watson knocked it in offside. 6 minutes exactly remaining.
Flyers had a chance. They haven't had many in the overtime, but they did have a chance that time, and hard work. But I have to point out again that both these clubs are certainly showing fatigue right now. They just can't make the plays that they want to, and it's going to take some particular player, either a fluke goal or some particular player or play, just giving it one exceptional effort to win the hockey game.
Well, I hope it's the latter and not the former. On the face-off, Jim Watson turns at his own line, dumps it up along the boards. That'll be offside. It is. Two-line pass as Leach picked it up.
So another face-off inside the Philadelphia zone, about 3 or 4 feet inside. John D'Amico, the linesman, will drop the puck.
But you know, you only had 7 shots in this overtime thus far. Buffalo's had 4, Philadelphia 3. 21 face-offs to this point in the overtime. Over the line, Barber getting it back to Jim Watson, over to Van Imp. Van Imp tries to pick his way out to center, does. Checked by Schoenfeld, who rattled it right back into the corner again. Jimmy Watson swings in front of his own net, trying to get away from Perreault, does. Here's Watson coming down the ice. He's checked by Martin, then Martin couldn't get anywhere. Robert goes after it. Robert inside his own line, tipped it but not out. It's kept in by McLeish, then Robert knocked it to Martin. Martin along the boards, ran into the linesman. McLeish went after it. Perreault picks it up. Perreault comes over the Philadelphia line. Perreault trying to cut in, and Jimmy Watson kicked it away from him. It's cleared around on the boards to Barber. Barber dumps it out to McLeish at center. McLeish over the line, trying to cut in. Goes to the other side, to the top. Dumps it right in front of the net. Here it goes to Barber, right in front. Oh, and it's knocked away on a great play by Schoenfeld. Back comes Robert. Robert over the line, took his shot. He fired it wide. Now Korab is taken out of the play, and back come the Flyers again. Dornhofer takes a shot, right on. Crozier the save, the rebound. It's cleared away, but it's kept in there. Now Korab knocks down his check. Martin getting it ahead to Luce, 2-on-1 with Robert. Luce over the line, over to Robert, and he's checked at the last second by DuPont. It's right in front of the net, and Perron comes out to scramble and make the save.
A 2-on-1, a beautiful 2-on-1 setup, but the puck knocked away from Rene Robert just as he went to shoot, and it went firing wide of the net. And when he tried to get it back in front, Bernie Perron jumped all over it and fell on it out in front of his own goal crease. And we have a face-off to Perron's left, and we're getting the players coming out on the ice again for Fogg. Luce went in with Robert. He fed it over to him, and just as he went to shoot, Andre DuPont made what might have been a game saver, certainly. Perron was coming over to cover, but DuPont threw his body out, and his stick just deflected the puck away from Rene Robert as he went to shoot.
It's Leach. Now we're ready to go. Luce against Clark. Puck goes to the boards. DuPont after it. He clears it down the ice. If it goes far enough and fast enough, it'll be icing. It does, and it is.
I don't know how many face-offs there have been in this period. That's why I'm going to ask Norm Jewison if he can add up a total of how many face-offs in the period thus far. And he's counting for quite a while here. 23 face-offs in the first 15 minutes and 32 seconds of the period. So there's been more than face-off a minute. And here comes another one.
And this time it'll be Luce, Ramsey, and Gare. Flyers now have McLeish out there, and Lonsbury comes off. DuPont picks up the puck, tipped at it. It came in front. Here's Ramsey, quick shot. That one hit Joe Watson. Watson starts out with a pass up on the wing to Leach. His long shot went way wide. Around on the boards, Gare recovers. Gare tipped it off the boards, trying to get it to Luce. Luce goes after it in the corner with DuPont. Luce touched it, but it's called. Now we'll see whether it was icing or offside, depending on who got there first, DuPont or Luce. And they're ruling that DuPont got there first, so it's icing.
And there's face-off number 24 of the overtime coming up, this time to Roger Crozier's right. Two tired hockey clubs here, neither one willing to give an inch. Give in this game, a crucial game for the Sabres, and they just have to win it if they really want to make a serious run for the Cup.
Clark and Luce on the face-off again. It's cleared but not out. Jim Watson takes his shot. He fired that way wide. Around on the boards, Ramsey tipped it out to center. Van Imp picks it up there. Van Imp knocked it back in, but Ramsey knocks it down with his glove. Ramsey now clears it into the Flyer corner, goes after it himself. But Lonsbury gets back quickly as the Sabres make a wholesale change, and here come the Flyers. Lonsbury up over center, over the Buffalo line, trying to cut through Schoenfeld and can't do it. Schoenfeld knocks him down, and Carrier tries his luck. He gives it to Ramsey. Ramsey tips it back in behind the net for Schoenfeld. Schoenfeld looking for somebody to give it to, hit the referee. It bounces out to center ice. Selesky is checked there, and it's knocked back to Jim Watson. He rolls it over to Van Imp. Van Imp off the board. Schoenfeld picks it up, gave it to Lorenz, chopped it in again, and Van Imp has it. Up ahead to Chris. Too far. He couldn't control it. Schoenfeld whacked it back the other way. It's caught up in the paraphernalia of Ramsey. Ramsey turns in his own zone. Gets away from two Flyers. Comes straight over center ice. Over the Philadelphia line. Goes to the corner. Took a shot and went behind the net. Stanfield knocked it back the other way. Ramsey can't get free of Van Imp, and Selesky has it. Al Spencer comes on, replacing Ramsey. Van Imp just dumps it down the ice. That'll be icing again against Philadelphia. Carrier going back to touch it. 2:48 remaining in the first overtime.
The 25th face-off of this overtime coming up now, and I almost think, Rick, that the teams are getting more and more cautious now. I think they're almost waiting for the rest. And we have now entered the longest Stanley Cup game since May of 1971, May 4th of 1971. Jim Pappen scored in the second overtime at 1:11 to give Chicago a 2-1 win over Montreal. That's the longest game, except for this one, in recent Stanley Cup history.
Stanfield out there to face off against Clark. It goes to the corner. Spencer goes after it, so does Watson. Stanfield in behind the net. He kicks it free, trying to get it out in front. Back to Gavremont. His shot right on! And Perrott made the save. It goes behind the net. DuPont starts out. Clears it up on the wing. Back comes Leach. Over to Clark. Back to Leach again. Leach going in. Height takes him off the puck and knocks it into the corner. And they jam in there and hold it for a of Crozier. 4-4 tie here in the first overtime. McLeish gets the draw, back to the point, a shot. That one went over top of the net. Robert off the boards, trying to knock it to center. He does. Back after it goes Barber. Barber just fired it back in again. Schoenfeld knocked it down with his glove. Starts down the ice, trying to get away from Barber. Clears it into the Philadelphia zone, goes after it, but DuPont got in front of him. Barber goes behind his own net, watched by Perreault. Barber trying to come out, knocks it out to center. Dornhofer taken off the puck by Schoenfeld. They jam against the boards. The puck is free. Now Watson gets in there with Martin and play is called. I'd be very... Perreault against McLeish again. McLeish winning the draw, turns at his own line, lost it along the boards. Robert tipped it back for Perreault, too far. Jim Watson over to Van Imp. Van Imp comes to center, flipped it ahead. It bounces over Height's stick. He has to hustle back after it. Height stops in the corner to shake off McLeish. Around it comes to Rick Martin. Up ahead for Perreault. Perreault coming to center. Dumps it off the boards in the corner. Robert going after it. He scores! Rene Robert! And the Sabres win it again in overtime. Off the boards in the corner. Robert, a
Perreault and Rick Martin. Joe Perreault threw it off the boards after Martin gave him a pass. Robert hammered it right between the goal pads of goaltender Bernie Perron, who left a little bit. Not much, but that shot was a bullet, and it drove its way between Bernie Perron's goal pads, and it's a winner, the second overtime winner in a row for René Robert of the Buffalo Sabres. He did it in Game 5 against the Montreal Canadiens. He did it again here at 18:29 of the first overtime period. It's Buffalo 5 and Philadelphia 4.
Paul, I don't know where the fans are getting the energy, but a standing ovation again. And listen to the cheer now as they announce René Robert's name. That's it. Buffalo 5, Philadelphia 4 in the first overtime period, but perilously close to the second. We'll be back in just a moment. This is the Sabres Hockey Network on WGR Buffalo.
Back at the auditorium in Buffalo, it's 5-4. The Sabres over the Flyers to close the gap in the Stanley Cup Finals. The winning goal scored by René Robert at 18:29 of overtime here in this sweltering steam bath at Memorial Auditorium. Announcing the 3 stars in the building. We'll talk about those a little bit later. And we know who that first star is going to be, Rick, I think, but meantime, here's the way it went. In the first period, Dornhofer and Cholesky for the Flyers. Then Garen Martin answered for the Sabres. Rick McLeish put him ahead 3-2. The Flyers at 14-13. Shots on goal 18-6 in that first period. In the second period, Luce for Buffalo tied it up, but Leach put the Flyers ahead 4-3 at 14:30, and it was 4-3 at the end of the second. In the third period, 1 goal, Billy Height from Richard Martin and Don Luce at 9:56. And in the overtime, René Robert, and it's originally been given to Martin Height, but I'm sure it's going to be given to Perreault and Martin after they take a